Favorite City showing clear, valid. Second plate is going to come back on the silver Volkswagen out of your city, also showing clear, valid. Looks like they both list a 7171 Locust. 3612, just for information, the phone number you had me check had no history on CAD.
Copy. My computer's not working. Can you give it to me so I can check?
Yeah, I moved closer to the cell phone tower so I could tell you guys this story. Yeah, it's the last notice, I know.
7478, just so you
But
know,
it should be stable now. I haven't gotten anything saying it's unstable. So, it should be good. I am going to show you guys a video here during. Anyways, I was trying to ask you guys if you know what the ARC store is, what they do for helping people. And alright, the proceeds benefit the ARC of Colorado, a nonprofit organization that works to promote the well-being of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So does that give you an idea of what they do? I mean, they're just not a thrift store. They help people. How you doing, JD? So they help people in many ways. How you doing, McLove? And if you guys remember, I took the deal of deferred prosecution and I did do 8 hours of community service. I did my 8 hours at the ARC store. So, which was interesting because I didn't know exactly what the ARC did before this. I just, never thought about it that, it's a thrift store and they're non-profit. So I didn't know how they help people. So, anyways, I heard some noise the other night and I went in search of the noise. This is the back of the ARC store right here that I'm showing you. This is only a 1 minute and 26 second clip of the video. You can see somebody on top of the dumpster there. I'm thinking, oh, well, there's somebody up there on the dumpster. I zoomed in with the camera so I could see better. Right? So I'm thinking, they're just dumpster divers. No big deal, right? The dumpster out there is fair game to people, right? So I'm just watching at this point because, they're making noise. It's like, what in the world's, why are they making this noise? And, are they scrapping or what? There's a second person there that I had spotted. I was like, where'd they come from? I didn't know where they had came from. So I'm just watching at this point and recording. Yeah, Goodwill probably does the same. Anyways, look where that girl is going right there. Look where she went. She went inside the fenced area. So, at that point, I knew they were there to steal whatever they could when she went into the fenced area. So I got on the phone with dispatch for Brighton Police Department and told them what was going on. As I was on the phone with the dispatch, a vehicle came down the street and was honking its horn. Happened to be a Jeep just like mine, except it was a different color. Same year around, his same model, Grand Cherokee. So he's honking the horn. I'm like, I asked dispatch, did you already put that out on the radio? And they were like, no. And I told them, well, you know, I was wondering if the guy was trying to warn them or just telling them that he's coming. Anyways, I figured out that it was probably just telling him he was coming there. And the Jeep pulled into the Ark in the drop-off area where that was, in the back there. And the guy got out. And all three of them went into the yard back there, the fenced area. So I'm just watching them at this point and figuring Brighton will show up soon enough. And I'm watching as the guy's going through the stuff and the girls are going through the stuff back there. You could kind of see them through the fence, kind of, sort of. And you could tell that they were going through the stuff to take stuff. And they were pulling things out of the yard there and putting them out there outside of the fenced area. And the guy, when he pulled up, didn't even open up his rear tailgate to begin with. But then he opened it up and he had put something into the back of his Jeep. I'm like, okay, yeah, they're definitely taking stuff. But then he turned around and took it out of the Jeep. And I was like, I wonder if that wasn't a good enough thing for him to take or something. You know what I mean? So, anyways, he went back to his Jeep and he had grabbed something else out of the Jeep. And it was a toolbox. And Brighton showed up very shortly after. When Brighton pulled up, just the guy was visible out in the front part there by the drop-off area. So they detained him and asked him what he was doing there. And I moved closer at this point, but I couldn't hear because my hearing screwed up. So I couldn't hear it, and the officer told me shortly after that he told a story to the cops saying that he was there to donate stuff, is what he had said. And I'm like, no, that's not what he's here for. I didn't have video of that part of it, but he was saying he was there alone and he was there dropping off stuff to donate, is what he had told the police. So I talked to them for a bit and they told me what he had said. I'm like, no, and I showed him the video of the two girls. And it was just a short video. Anyways, they had put him in cuffs and put him into the back of the patrol car. And I found out later he had 2 warrants as well, by the way. Yeah, could be Craigslist, could be. So they got him in the back of the car and they're trying to figure out, you know, what's going to happen with him and all that. And I'm like, well, there's still 2 girls in the back here in the fenced area. And they went in there and searched and couldn't find them. And they come back out and we're trying to figure out, you know, how they got away. And I'm like, they can't get over that fence inside there. You would have heard them. And there's slats on the fence where you can't climb it. So they had to have climbed up, either to the roof or on top of the trailer, the semi-trailer. Sure enough, they crawled up to the top of the semi-trailer and were laying on top of it. One of the officers spotted them, and told them to come down. So they finally came down and they put them into cuffs and put them into separate cars. And lo and behold, one of the girls' IDs is in the Jeep that had just pulled up, that the guy just told them that he came there alone. I'm like, oh, that made a whole lot of sense. Her purse is sitting on the front seat of the Jeep, that he said he came to the spot alone. So now we have 3 people in handcuffs, and it's pretty obvious at that point that the story he told the police was a lie. And they ended up taking him in on his warrants, and I'm not completely sure about the girls, but I believe all of them got trespass charges, and he might have gotten charged for burglary tools. But they were definitely pulling bicycles out to steal, and I didn't see what else, but they were about to cut the lock on the semi-trailer that the girls had crawled on top of that had stuff in it. So they were going to cut the lock on it and go through the stuff. So anyways, there was I don't know, five policemen there, 5 cops of Brighton. I didn't even have my good phone that I'm streaming from right now with me to even record. So I didn't record anything but the beginning part, you know, of when I was observing the people as they were going into the yard. So, but it pissed me off because, you know, what, a week ago my catalytic converter was stolen, and we got people running around the neighborhood stealing things that aren't theirs so that they can have money for their drugs or whatever that they, you know, want their money for. And it just pissed me off that these people were there stealing from the Ark. So that's why I asked that question. Yeah, if they wanted anything, they could go in there and buy it for really, really cheap and resell it for probably a profit. You know, a lot of good stuff in there that's really cheap that they could resell if they wanted to. Anyways, that's the noise I had heard was metal clanking, so I thought maybe catalytic converter thieves were back around and cutting off cats off other vehicles. So I was looking for the noise. Welcome to Biden's America. Yeah. So anyways, this all started at 4 o'clock in the morning for when I saw them, and it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and the manager of the Ark came in, you know, showed up to open up the store and everything. So I got to talk to him and tell him what had happened, and of course the police needed to talk to him anyway because they have cameras out there and they wanted the camera footage for out there for what they were doing, so, you know, as evidence, of course. So it would show him going into the back there and you know, that he didn't pull things out of his vehicle other than his toolbox to try to go after the lock on the trailer. So Biden is the most popular president ever, right? The only people that Biden is popular with is probably crooks. So anyways, I talked to the manager of the Ark store and told him what had happened, and he's like, come back later and I'll give you some coupons. I'm like, I'm a night owl, I gotta go to bed. So I went to bed, and by the time I got up he was already gone. So I stopped in there the next day, but I was already too late for him to be I was too late. He was already gone for the day, so he's not going to be in Tuesday. But I don't want the coupons for myself. I have a new neighbor that has just moved in that has been living in her vehicle for the last 3 years.
11, I have that on a green locked at 3 out of your city, showing clear, valid, in 2004.
So I want the coupons to give to her so that she can get the things that she needs for her new house. So I have no idea what this guy's doing pulling up here. Oh, he's meeting this lady here. So I'm going to get the coupons from the manager, whatever they are, and give them to my new neighbor that just moved in, that has been living in her car for 3 years and waited, 3 years to get a housing through, whatever program that she got her housing through. So I'm looking forward to talking with the manager on Tuesday and getting those coupons for her. Other people brought stuff yesterday for her house because she had pretty much nothing, only what she had in her car. So they brought her a bunch of stuff, some furniture and stuff, but I figured that she can use the coupons to buy what she needs at the thrift store for really, really cheap, if not almost nothing, so that she can get her house set up so she can live. Because I don't need anything from the thrift store, you know what I mean? Well, it's not that I don't want anything from the thrift store, it's that I don't need anything from the thrift store at this point. So I have everything I need for my house already. He needed a witness? I don't know, but they picked out of this whole parking lot, they picked it to come sit in front of me. So that's the way it is. I'm a star. Thought I was gonna be stream sniped. I mean, they parked directly in front of me, and this whole parking lot area is empty except for me until these two people came. So anyways, I've told you the story that I wanted to tell you about the ARC store, about the thieves getting caught, going to jail. So it isn't I haven't been wanting to get out, it's a matter of being able to get out with limited funds for gas for driving around and stuff. So I'm listening to the scanner and hearing things like the 57 warrants on the one guy last night. They want to be YouTube stars? Yeah. No, I don't think they're arguing. But being able to drive around has been a little bit more difficult without yeah, you're right about her wanting more money. It's in the PayPal pool. It's listed cash flow. It's listed on the PayPal pool of how much it's going to cost, plus a device to prevent it from being stolen again. I forgot what it came up to. It was like $750 or something like that, plus I had to pay $65 to even get my pipe fixed. Bowel's up. Hey Bowel, what's happening? So anyway, I may go out here in Brighton, but I'm gonna static record. You guys already see how bad the signal is in Brighton, where I can't sustain a stream that easy in Brighton itself. So any recordings probably from Brighton are going to be static. for the most part. So I can afford a little bit of gas to go out and get some footage for the channel. Yeah, Bao is hilarious when he's up there screaming at the cops, isn't he? So I haven't been paying attention to the scanner because I can't hear out of my right ear anyway, and it was sitting on my right, so I couldn't even hardly hear it to even know if we had any calls for Brighton, because I turned it down as well because I didn't want it over my voice so much. So anyways, guys, you got the lowdown on what happened at the ARC store. 3 people went to jail over it: trespass, burglary, and warrants. I don't know if the females had warrants or not, but that's the way it happens. Few less thieves in the area for the time being. I don't know how long they'll be held in jail for. They'll be back out doing the same thing. Oh, he got his Jeep towed too, by the way. So he lost his Jeep. They took it in for evidence. Brighton, UK, can I get there? Maybe next year. It's a long drive. So, yeah. But yeah, I need to raise some money for a catalytic converter. I'm okay for the catalytic converter not being there for right now with just a straight pipe, because the Jeep has 2 catalytic converters up by the exhaust and 1 in the middle where they stole it from. So there's 3 catalytic converters on a Jeep, and they took the back one. Driving over the pond is not good. I heard it can be done, but the gas stations are hell to find. Jeep used in the commission of a crime. Yeah, he had his tools in there and stuff, so, and they put his tools back into his Jeep and sealed it up and towed it off to have the detectives go through it. So anyways, I have 2 catalytic converters already on the exhaust, but missing the last one. I don't know if it would pass emissions, but my emissions isn't due until next year. So I have a while to find out, you know, to get a catalytic converter where it's got to pass emissions again, and a device to keep it from being stolen again. The thing is, I can't even believe they even bothered to steal the catalytic converter on this Jeep. I don't even think that they're high dollar ones. I think they're just desperate. But they did. So, but yeah, $65 just to put in a pipe to fix it. So you got the receipt for that right here. But that's what I had to pay, $65 to get the straight pipe put in, so that it wasn't loud and my exhaust wasn't dragging on the ground. Just slip the emissions tester for $50. It would still have to pass. So
I'm not sure if this is related to your,
you know, I don't, it might pass without the 3rd catalytic converter. So it's a possibility that it might pass without that 3rd converter. But, you know, that's the way it goes. Colorado changed their emission laws where you have to conform to California standards now. So that's the part that really sucks, is I'm being told that I have to buy a California catalytic converter. 350 or higher? Yeah, it's definitely up there on the gas price. 350, about normal. I don't even know what the gas price is here at the King Soopers. 348, I think it says over there. Yeah, that's what it looks like, 348. So it's pretty close to the 350. But as you guys know, I did complete my community service, and the case was dismissed when I did that on the same day that Pikes was there, by the way. His was to go to trial. Mine was to be dismissed over it. So mine got dismissed with my 8 hours. I actually did 8.5 hours of community service, by the way. So they said I had to do 8, but I stayed late on the last day because they needed the help. So I actually did 8.5 hours and was credited for 8.5 hours. So they got their extra help, and I didn't mind it at all. So my park curfew ticket for inside the park when I was with Otto and Pikes is taken care of. The other one, that's a whole nother matter yet. So we'll figure that out as time goes. I've been trying to get the lawyer to pick up the case on it, to basically file a lawsuit on it, because the parks don't own the sidewalk, even though they claim to. So you guys know how that goes. But if I drive anywhere from here, I'll probably lose the signal on the stream, so I'm not gonna try anyway. I'll just go static and upload, more than likely. If I went down into Adams County or something, that'd be another matter. I'd be alright for streaming, but I can't afford the gas to go down there. Yeah, Ranger Paul. Matt Paul, I think his name was. Yeah, I still have, I can still do something about that, which I'm trying to get a lawyer to do. But the lawyer's been too busy with other people's cases to take on mine to start it. And it needs to be done soon, because you only have 2 years. Yeah, it was close. 120, 22 a liter for gas in the UK. That sounds expensive. Is that 120 pounds? I mean, that's more than $120 American if it's pounds. Or is that sterling? Or however they say it. Is that the equivalent to about $1.50 per liter? No, that can't be right. It's got to be more than that in it for gas in the UK. I could believe 12 pounds a liter. 120 a liter. Okay, yeah, but it's 3.8 liters to a gallon. So times 3.8. And you're way higher than us. $3.98 at Costco. Yeah, gas prices are just gonna climb. Biden doesn't care. Biden is the one who caused all this. Most is tax. Yeah. Yeah, most is tax. That's true. Alright, their little family visit is done, and he's about to back into her. Something like that. $2.59 there. That's not too bad. That's actually pretty decent. The gas, well, I've been pissed off about the gas. You guys know all through the pandemic here, they shut everything down, right? We still had gas coming in. Our gas stores were piled up so high, we had tankers off the coast sitting there full of oil that couldn't unload because they had no place to put it. The gas price went so low, it went below zero. They wanted people to, they were going to pay people to take it. It was that low. But the gas price never fluctuated. You know, it went from around $2 a gallon to staying around $2 a gallon through most of the pandemic. And they say it's supply and demand. It ain't supply and demand when you got stockyards full of oil and nobody buying it because nobody's driving around because of the pandemic. Everything's shut down. They didn't lower the price at all. So once they started reopening things a little bit, price, you know, stayed about the same up until the point that Biden took over. Once that happened, boom, shut down the pipeline. Shut down the pipeline, and all of a sudden we're all paying the high price for it.
Engine 11, vehicle fire, I-76, eastbound to Pecos and Pecos Street on channel.
I don't know about that, Paulie. There's places that are cheaper than the United States for gas. I think like down in Brazil and whatnot, Mexico, they all got cheap gas. You got people driving across the border to Mexico filling up double gas tanks to bring gas back into America. Gas in Mexico is cheap, dirt cheap. Oil was minus $27. Yeah. So gas in Mexico is cheaper than here by far. So you go south of our border and it's cheap. Pipeline was not providing anything to the US, but it certainly affected us. That's the problem, is they use any excuse that they can to up the price on fuel. And it's going to be going over $4 a gallon before the end of the year, I guarantee it. Oil company doesn't want to have anything to do with this administration, and they're going to punish America for putting him in and allowing him to put in the policies that he has. Trump was the one that got our gas prices down. When it was Obama, we were about this level before. When Trump got in, the prices went down. He was actually helping Americans. Well, that's what the ruling class does, Cash 12.
Go ahead.
We are all slaves to them, basically. So they want us to be slaves to our own government. The sad part is that's what people are wanting, obviously, if they voted for Biden and voted for the Democrats.
That were possibly using drugs in the area around the property. Both white parties are being just advised it was near the O'Reillys.
Oh yeah, definitely the real sovereign citizens. They definitely do that. But yeah, food prices are rising now. Everything's going up. Come on, everything. We're gonna see hyperinflation before long because of this stupidity that Biden has caused. Mobile $4.57 a gallon regular. Yeah. So it's only going to get worse until something happens. with Biden and his incoherent thoughts. You know. Yeah, open borders with pandemic raging. They say they want everybody wearing masks again. They're wanting. They're talking about shutdowns again. Shutting down the United States again like they did last year. A lot of people lost their jobs over that. But, oh, yeah, our government will pay for it. Here's some money for everybody. Get everybody on unemployment. Get everybody some money. Yeah, come on, man. You know the thing. Yeah. Let's get everybody back on the government money. Except for they forgot where the government money comes from. It comes from us. All the money that everybody's getting comes from us. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to survive it either. I already predicted that protests are going to... there's going to be a lot of protests this year. There hasn't been as many as I thought there would be. But I'll bet you they're going to start up more and more protests. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's all we can do is hold on for the ride for the most of us, because we can't affect change individually. We have to do it as a group, as in a larger group. And of course, Democrats are like, hey, let's open up these borders because these are going to be future Democratic voters, and we'll dump them into these Republican cities so that they'll outnumber the Republican vote and we can take over that way. That's basically what they're doing, is shipping them to Republican cities where, you know, where they're outnumbered. So that's how they're trying to win the votes now. That's why he opened up the borders. Too close of a race. So the only thing that can be done is people wake up to what's going on. How you doing, M&M Audits? So people wake up to what's actually going on with our border situation and why they're letting people in. Maybe they'll be switching sides from Democrat to Republican. You know, I've never actually been involved in politics much before this. Not until the last few years. Before, I could care less what was going on for the most part. I mean, it's like you never had much of a say anyway. It's just the average Joe on the street. I don't know, Cashflow. It could be. Or it could be Obama. Or it could be somebody else. But I don't think Biden can have an original thought in his head without somebody telling it to him, making him think that it's his thought. Two wings of the same bird of prey, yeah. Yep. I don't know if you guys remember way back when Obama was elected into office with Biden as vice president, and they were talking about the possibility of impeaching Obama back then. And I remember there was a discussion then of how much worse it would be if they did impeach Obama and left Biden in charge. About how incompetent he was then. And that's why they didn't do it. At least that's what they said at the time. I'm like, well, that makes sense to me. That, you know, the worst of two evils, you could say. That's how Obama got in to begin with. You know? So, but politics, oh, terrible. Yes. At least he had somewhat of a brain then. Now, I don't think he can come up with a coherent thought unless, you know, somebody's whispering in his ear what the response would be. That's why he doesn't go in front of the press. Yeah. Yeah. Cackling Carmala. Yeah, we're definitely being laughed at. So it's bad, and it's only going to get worse because what? This is only the first year of their reign, right? And they're using their presidential powers to pretty much make law illegally. Some of them are getting challenged, of course, of the stuff that they've been said. It's been said about it, I should say. And Joe goes off script, yeah. Yeah. When Joe goes off script, you don't even know what the hell he's talking about, though. You know, you can't make heads or tails out of what he's trying to say half the time anyway.
But he is saying 404.
So it's scary. I really hate to think that, you know, he's the man in charge with how incoherent he is for speaking to people when he can't hold a sentence and finish it. You know, when he says, oh, I got into this for 3 reasons, and he lists 2 of them. What happened to the 3rd reason? He lost his train of thought and didn't name the 3rd reason. You're hoping for Arnold Schwarzenegger to run. He can't run for president. He cannot run for president, by the way, Paulie. He was not born in the United States, so he cannot run for president. You can become a citizen of the United States, but that doesn't allow you to run for president of the United States. There's a lot more qualified people than Biden that they should have put forward. But they put him forward so he could be a puppet. So,
31 rechecking status.
You didn't know that, Paulie?
2032.
Mickey Mouse. Yeah. Yeah. Chip and Dale would be better. Come on. Whether it's the cartoon characters or the Chip and Dale dancers at the strip club. Right? But yeah, politics, it's bad out there. You can watch the Senate stuff on some of the, like Fox will show it, the discussions with Fauci and discussions with between them and stuff, putting people on the spot. You just assumed a governor could run? No, that's not how that works, unfortunately. How you doing, 80? Yeah, Schwarzenegger is Austrian by birth and immigrated to the U.S., yes. He's an immigrant. Which is a shame that he can't run. Maybe we should get The Rock to run for president, right? He was actually the president in a movie. What movie was that? They had The Rock as the president. Wayne Johnson. Or Dwayne Johnson, sorry. Letting Biden do whatever he wants. Yeah, I hear you, cash flow. I hear you. It's definitely a sad situation that most of us can't do anything about. Yes, they can, Noel. They can aspire to almost any other office, but not the presidency. I don't think anything to do with the chain of command of the United States. So they can't be like the secretary. They can't be the vice president or the president.
In contact on Florida 2035.
So I don't think they can be a senator either, because senators are in line for presidency should something happen to the current president. So I think they can be governors, because governors don't sit in that line. Yeah, flip-flopper. Yeah. Well, everybody knew from the beginning of the pandemic how screwed we were, just by them saying, you know, don't wear masks, is so that their frontline first responders could have them, because they didn't want their first responders to get sick. But the funny thing was is they wouldn't even wear it. At least the police wouldn't. You know, we've recorded police not wearing them. They could care less about masks. So when they finally came around and said, yes, everybody should wear masks, is like, you know, after the barn doors open and everybody's getting sick and it's already been passed around, and everything got shut down. And it's amazing how much it spread with everything shut down. How does that even happen? How did it make a beeline? Like, for instance, here in Brighton, it made a beeline to the elderly housing. Yeah, Craigslist. Yeah, kinda. Did you know that Fauci, I think it was Fauci, yeah, told Trump that he would face a pandemic during his presidency? I think it was 2017 that he told him that. And this was on the record too. So Fauci there, in my opinion, belongs in jail for mass murder. I think, in my opinion, that he is responsible for paying for the research in China, because the United States shut down any gain of function research in the United States. Couldn't do it. So they moved it to China, where it was allowed. Otherwise, it would have still been here in the United States, under the control and watchful eye of the CDC, that, you know, this is only, you know, research. This isn't gain of function. Why else would it be in China? In a communist country, on top of that we're paying for research from there. It's like, what? None of it made sense, other than the fact that they were doing research that wasn't allowed in the United States. And when they came out with the lie of it came from an animal, I believe it to be a lie anyway, that it came from an animal. I didn't think it was possible. They proved it early on, before the internet shut it all down. You know, saying, oh, this is false information. Yeah, Craigslist. So I believe he knew back then and has been lying through his teeth ever since. I mean, just look at his emails that are what's up with these cars? Everybody's congregating here again. What is up with this? Is this a popular meat spot for something that I don't know about? Is this a drug deal? What is this? I don't know. Weird. So, in my opinion, Fauci shouldn't be in charge right now, especially doing the investigation. He can only hamper the investigation intentionally, which he's probably doing, because he's implicated into it, you know. He's part of it. So it doesn't make any sense at all that he would still be in charge of the investigation into the origin of it when he's implicated in it. Yeah, he even wrote a book and is profiting from that, from what I understand. Is that correct? Did he write a book on it?
Okay.
I don't think it was a drug deal. It was just, you know, something innocuous. But the cops would think it was a drug deal. The guy was just handing him something. I'll probably get demonetized on this video just because of what we're talking about. But I'm not putting out anything as facts. This is just all opinion. 100% opinion. So, the freedom of speech, let's see if it lives on or if I get censored. I'm pretty sure I'll get censored on it. It's a swingers meat spot. Could be. Make love. Could be. Could very well be. So, anyways, enough about all that crap. The world's a mess and we all know it. Question is, what can we do about it? Probably not a whole lot. Vote often, vote more, vote harder. I don't know. Try to talk some sense into other people. People have been trying to talk sense into them for a long time.
You can have those two cars clear.
And it ain't working. Yes, all around. Exactly. They're investigating themselves and find nothing wrong. Eric knows how free speech is. All 12 years worth, yes. That is true. Yeah, there is sorta, Jay. Sorta. Not entirely. Depends on what you're talking about. A new Guy Fawkes, but to succeed this time, yeah. But the world is a mess, and we have to live in it. So, that's how it is. Until we figure out how to do things better, we're all kind of screwed. Voting is like sending a paper boat down a gutter and hoping it is going to be floating peacefully into eternity. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the system is rigged, I believe, but you know, every time proof comes up of it, they discredit it. So when they're putting in new laws, making it less likely to be able to cheat the system by showing ID, for instance, for voting, They can rig the system by opening up the borders and bringing more people that'll vote for them. How else are you going to outnumber an area so that it goes back to the way they want it? Yes, yes, you have rights. Yes. So, we are a mess in this country. Everybody's laughing at the country. Everybody's laughing at Biden. Everybody's laughing at Harris. So, and things aren't going to change very quick. We already know that this government is willing to bear arms against Americans who feel different. They will arrest and prosecute you for protesting against, you know, what's going on. So things are not good. Look how many troops were there for Biden's inauguration. People weren't there for inauguration. It was Biden's troops were there for the inauguration. He was sworn in with military there to ensure nothing happened. That's pretty much under military rule. So that's no different than a dictatorship. So we'll see what happens here midterms. Whether people are paying attention to what's going on. The media is silent about it all. Most of the mainstream media is silent about what is actually going on. Everybody knows it that's on here. Say, who here doesn't know about what's going on? What's really going on? That's here listening now. Oh yeah, Craigslist. Exactly. He had more soldiers there than he ever had at any of his speeches while he was running for president. He just hid in the basement. Anyways, this has gone on for about an hour. I gave my story of what had happened down at the ARC store. So I'm going to go ahead and call it an evening. I'm not going to keep you guys here all night over just talking. If I wanted to do that, I should probably just like start up panels and stuff. We're going to become a third world country. We already are. Didn't you know it? We already are. We are not number one anymore. It's not even a free America anymore. So, anyways, guys, I do thank you guys for joining me for a finally stable stream. That we could talk and chat. But I should probably set up like a studio at my house where I can do some panels maybe. Do the orcs buy at the ARC store? It's possible. Yeah, Craigslist. I hear you. Alright, make love. Take it easy. So, good night to everybody. Thank you guys for joining the stream. So, I have no more notifications for tonight. So, that's the way it is. So, I'll just static record here in town if I can find something good to go to. So, alright guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Luna's doing good, by the way. Luna's doing good. She's fat and sassy. So, alright guys. Till next time.